call this meeting order, please. First, the pledge of allegiance. Yes, sir. It takes three of us to figure out how this thing works. To remind me to start it. Jeff watches me to see if I'm doing it correctly. Okay, this meeting has been convened. Let's join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Just for those at this end of the table, just for your information, ET is not with us anymore, so we're back on a 5-minute or second delay here.
I'll watch my mouth.
Oh, you don't, you got 5 seconds to play with now.
Oh, okay.
ET didn't make the cut.
No, I didn't.
Okay, let's approve the minutes of the July 31st, 2018 regular meeting, please. Could I have a motion? So moved. Mr. Wilkerson? Second. Mr. Baker? All yes vote? Yes. Okay. Public comments. Mr. Ellis, do we have anyone signed to speak to the board tonight?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you very much. Okay, having no one signed in to speak to us, we'll go to presentations and reports. And our first person is the Hamlin Mayor, David Adkins. He's going to discuss the resource officer agreement. Good.
Yes. We all got a copy of it,
I
all right?
think we have a handout. Yes.
Which we've been going on this, the old one for quite a while, and just like anything else in places, catching up, and, I've got a few pointers to, share with you. My top girl sent me, so that I would be prepared for this. But I wish I'd bring my glasses so I could have actually read it.
There you go.
Huh?
Just readers.
Hey, you got bad as I was. Okay, that's like the training that Lee just went to. He went to the PRO training, and it cost us $1,500 to send him there.
Now you look at, we're looking like the one.
I'm on my phone, just giving you
Okay,
a description of the other stuff that,
Okay, like the 5th one down on our list says training, and that's where this would fall under?
yeah, we charge that, okay, to you all.
Okay.
But this actually costs, she's got yearly cost 12, but it was actually $1,500. She did that before we got the bill, I guess.
Now, what is this training, do you know what it's for, this training?
It's the do's and don'ts of being an officer, and that's one to give us an update on the grant. And they even told him, they called him back and said that it would look like it was gonna be around 20. But we don't know what it is.
Well, what my question is this related to being a resource officer, or is this just being an officer in general?
No, it's PRO class.
Okay, so this is just for.
Just
okay,
for
that
being
class.
an
Okay.
officer in a school.
Okay.
And you really don't, unless you have a grant, you don't have to take that class because it's not a PRO officer then.
Okay.
But if it's, if there's a grant involved, you've got to have the PRO officer that has the training,
Well, plus
you know, for the grant.
it's beneficial
Yeah.
for the person to be working.
I'm just stating that,
Okay.
it costs us $1,500, we charge you all $1,000, so
Okay.
that's,
That would be something we'd have to have or should have. That's good.
and actually, it's no benefit to the town if we wasn't doing this.
That's.
I'm just trying to explain
That's
why this is going up and, with a little bit of help from,
That's good, okay.
let's see. And then his salary for the days, they're at 40 hours a week. That was at the training. We had to pay that. The training was like so much, then we had to pay his salary for 40 hours. It all ended up $1,500. Let's see. And we also pay overtime for 2 officers at the football games that we really don't add into this, because we always have more than one officer at football games. And they're always usually on overtime because we don't schedule them, you know, for the games.
Okay, now, when you talk about that one,
That's just,
the first item up here is officer salary. Are you saying that those officers that come to those ball games, is that a part of that, or is that something?
no, that's just lease salary right there.
Okay.
I'm just reading this off here, this is extra perks that you get from us.
If we have this agreement. Okay.
Right.
That aren't
Hit-
included in the.
Right, it's not
operating
included in it,
agreement.
it's just something that I'm letting you know,
Okay.
because, Fred likes to know this stuff, he's.
No, that's good, that's,
Yeah.
we just clarifying, that sounds fine.
And other sports games, let me see. And then when kids, where they take the kids home, after school or after games or, whatever, and that's on overtime. And the investigations he does for the school after hours, because he don't do all his investigations on some stuff. I mean, not that he investigates every day or something like that, but it does happen. He investigates and he's gotta go, back to the office and do a little bit of it of the evening and stuff. So that's another bonus you get with it. So that's about all she get me on that.
Okay.
And this right here, all this is on the officer himself. Just him by himself.
Now, when we compare last year's to this year's, the officer's salary is increased. Is there a?
Yeah, we had Joe, we had Joe part of last year, wasn't there? Yeah, that's part of last year. And he paid low pay, and then
Okay.
Lee came in, which Lee gets maximum pay.
Okay.
That was like,
$4.50 an hour more.
how much was it?
$4.50.
Yeah, $4.50 an hour more.
So Lee's salary is higher than with the salaries that we started with the officer last year?
Yes.
So that's the reason
Yes.
that was increased?
Yes.
Okay. And the benefits, I'm assuming, is something similar to that?
Yeah, well, your benefits is what you pay.
Based
for-
on
yeah,
salaries,
your-
that
yeah,
increases
it is.
those?
What we pay on the benefits is how your pay rate is for the officers.
Okay.
And the fuel is about the same, I think.
It is the same,
Yeah.
yes.
Uniform allowance should be the same.
It is.
Training, I don't know.
That's the new, or last year was 800,
Okay,
but you only showed it being 1,000.
right.
And we paid 800, so apparently the cost of it has increased, and our share has increased too.
Right. Well, that's one that actually cost us 15.
Right, we just
She's got 1,200 down there, but I think she went by last year's, didn't she?
Yeah, we had a different training last year because it wasn't POR,
It was
PRO
P.
related. It was something, it was a P,
They got different letters for it.
You have a
It's
more
for in-school
professional
training, but it's not,
with the grant.
With the
You have
grant.
to have the professional training with the
Uh,
grant.
more inclined for this type
Yes,
of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
That's good. Okay, now, we're down to vehicle maintenance, let's see. We went up, $150. That's just, any reason other than the cars getting older or what?
She took 12 months worth of maintenance and prorated it for the 9 that he's in school, and that's what it was. So she took those numbers from her actual expenses.
So it was $1,350 last year expenses on the car.
Does he always use the same car? Okay.
The best one.
Get the best.
We have all of them.
I was gonna say, he's got a whole parking lot there.
You got them all. You got nothing. Yeah, we still got a couple, one junker left down there, parts car.
I just thought he had the keys hanging on the wall, just grab, set.
Just whatever.
Yeah, they're out there. Okay. Now, the new item we have, Lindsay, we didn't have before is the bonds and the insurance.
Uh-huh.
Just-
Well, the bonds, and the insurance, well, the insurance is
The bonds is like, he has to be bonded as, we have like a $10,000 bond on each officer. She must have included it as part of the expense. I mean, it's not very much, is it? What is?
$920.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, see, last year we weren't, so apparently you were paying, it was
we
bonded
was
to-
paying for it without
Yeah.
charging.
And we weren't paying our
Yeah.
share, is that what you're?
Well,
In a way.
it benefits the whole community, so
Well,
we're happy to keep the expenses.
I'm just trying to
Yes, sir.
see why.
Well, it's a little different this year because we got a different person in the office and she's just a little bit more thorough than what we've had before, doing this, I guess, maybe.
Okay. I
But
mean,
just
I'm not-
something we overlooked,
Okay.
just an oversight.
All we're wanting to do is just to see where the variances are and why they were there. That's what you're doing.
Right.
You're claiming to us that was probably a charge that there was there before, we just didn't pay a part of it.
And we didn't need it, we didn't pay no attention to it.
Right, but
Before.
somebody was paying it according to Dan.
Yeah, we pay it, we gotta pay it.
You have to pay the
That's
bond.
what I
Yes.
mean. Okay. All right, so that's pretty well, those. Does anybody have any particular questions? Any of the board members? Anything in particular?
I have no question, but I got an email from Government Roles today. They have not received the grant money yet.
No.
They have no clue when it will be here.
Well, now, like I said, the PRO people up there that did the training, they are on top of this more than what the governor's office just waiting on, you know, somebody to call and tell them. The PRO people call and find out. And they keep up to date on it, and they call Lee and give him up to dates on it. That's what I said, they called him, last week, wasn't it? Last week, they called him and told him that it looks like it's still on target for 90 days, and it looked like it was gonna be 20 instead of 18. Even though we requested 18, they said there was more money in there than they thought, and they went up to 20, so that's a good deal. So that knocks it back down. If that comes to, we'll have to wait and see, and whatever it is though, we'll knock that off, and that'll be even 2020, 2019.
Federal government's one holding it up.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Fleming,
But that's who they contact. They contact the people up at the federal government to see how it's coming, and each state does, that does this, each state calls. And it's, and I think the sanctuary thing is just, gonna be out of the equation for long, because I don't think they can do that.
I prorated how much you used though.
now, Fleming, just for everybody's understanding here, everyone has heard Mr. Curry for several years now talk about trying to acquire a grant for the resource officer. And this year, you know, we, along with working with Christie and others, I guess, at town Hamlin, have worked on submitting the grant along with Dr. Kersey from our office here. So we have one that's in the hopper, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, it's for $18,000.
That's original, yes.
Okay. Now, our understanding is when we do our agreement, which we're hoping to do at our next board meeting, to have that done, every year, you know, we have an agreement that the board approves, and then you sign, and Mr. Midkiff signs, and, you know, then
Yeah.
covers us for that year. Now, but in this, we want some language, and I think Jeff's talked to you about this, some language in there this time that would basically say that if we agree to the $40,092, that it would be less the $18,000.
Or whatever
or
we
whatever
receive.
comes
It's
from
in
the
there,
grant.
here's the grant. It's in there, this is a grant.
Okay. Well, I mean, just say,
Yeah,
we're all on the same page.
Whatever the grant is,
Whatever
we'll
comes in.
subtract that from what, the board owns.
Right. And they'll just be,
because we don't know where it's gonna be, 18,
Exactly.
20, 6, or 6,000, we don't know what it's gonna
Right.
be,
But-
but we're hoping for 20.
okay. But whatever it happens to be,
Yeah.
there'll be language in there
Yeah.
that whatever's acquired from that grant
Right.
would be deducted from the board share.
Exactly.
We're all good on
Yeah.
that part, okay, good.
Yep, everybody's on the same page.
You just want to clarify that. Now, I noticed that the school day has changed. Is that because his work hours are different? And you may not even know that.
I probably don't.
Last year, we had an officer from 7:30 to 4 p.m.
No, 7:45 to
Well,
3:45, because that's what time we need to,
well, that may be more realistic, this new one that we
Yeah.
have. But the old one says 7:30 to.
well, we did that, and then we figured out that's not the time for his first job in the morning, direct traffic.
Right.
That's when you need to start directing traffic. That's when he needs to be there, 7:45.
7:45,
And then it lets out 3:45.
Okay.
Or, well, time he gets done with his traffic duties is 3:45, because I think it starts at 3:30. Is that when the buses start rolling?
Yeah.
28, 3:30.
Somewhere like that, yeah. So by the time the bus is all gone, he's done at 3:45. And he needs to be there at 7:45 in the morning to start, not 7:30, because that's 15, yeah. It's the same amount of time, and we did adjust the time, we just didn't do it on paper.
Okay.
We had it wrote down like that, but that wasn't true time we need to be on the job.
Okay, but this is an 8-hour day right here,
Mhm.
right? And that's
Yeah.
what you're saying. Does he get to eat lunch? Or does anybody know where he eats lunch? Does he stay on campus?
I think he's.
Fred?
I've just got
Where's he lunch, Fred?
Let's get something straight. I had a reason to check on your other.
I know.
But
But
this one's a good guy, don't worry about it.
have you ever, you had to check him out to start with, didn't you?
Huh?
You checked him out to start with?
he was not following anybody.
Well, I thought maybe,
And
just,
if somebody acts up at work school board, I'll follow them. You might well understand that.
I keep,
sure.
I look at my rearview
Well,
mirror all
this
the
is
time.
taxpayer money.
That's right.
Okay, but, you know, with him living there, he might even go home to eat lunch, who knows? I was just curious if anybody
I never
Ideally,
ask him where he goes to lunch at.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
think-
have seen him though, last year, I seen him, run down Subway and grab something, or, something like
well,
that.
somebody, I don't know whether it was he or him or one of the other officers, that they would do their lunch, but they would wait till the kids' lunch was over. Is that right, Bill?
He's over there during lunch, because that's really,
Yeah, that's the time when we really,
Need him.
yeah.
he's.
He eats lunch after the kids do.
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, we,
Well, he probably does, but.
yeah. Oh, he may be there all day long, I don't know, I'm just curious.
And he may have a flexible lunch, depends on what's going on.
Right, well, that's what I mean, and the thing here is that, I guess ideally, if he were over there all the time would be best, because something can happen at any hour of the day, you know. And of course, I realize at times he has to go to the courthouse and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta go,
Things like that, yeah, but that's you know, like I say, 7:45 to 3:45, that's an 8-hour period of time. Then it goes on to say, he is at the school for 34 hours a week, or 35 hours a week.
he's at school really 40.
Well,
But I mean, we don't know about the
That's saying
lunch,
this blue picture.
you know what I'm saying? Where he goes.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, when I just read that, I said, well, that's an 8-hour workday,
Mhm.
but he's only, that should be 40 hours, unless he takes an hour for lunch, or, you know.
Well, I think some of that, being at the school itself, right? That's what it
3:40?
says,
It
being at the
says
school.
he works from 7:45 to 3:45 per day in the work week. He is at the school 34 hours a week. 35. Or 35 hours a week.
I think.
That's probably on average for when he has to take off and leave to take kids home, or when he has to take off to do he gets a subpoena, blah, 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 yeah.
Subpoena.
There you go,
He gets
the courthouse, and he's gotta go to those.
Not to interrupt, but he
yeah.
actually, that's the 5 hours that we're estimating that he's, you know, that he's not in school, whether he's out on a call or,
Yeah.
we try to be
Yeah.
fair about it. you
Right.
know, 'cause you-
Well, I mean, in our.
But that's when he's off the premises.
Right. In this agreement that Mr. Midkiff has over here, it doesn't even mention the hours. So it's.
Or just the
Have
race.
to, would-
Yeah, that just says he works from 7:45 to.
Yeah.
If it says
That's
that,
fine.
that's all. I was
Yeah.
just curious,
Yeah.
you know, what that really meant when I saw that. Let's see what else I saw here. Okay, now, as you have stated several times here, now, as far as his workday, he is going to follow the 200-day calendar that our employees follow, our teachers and.
Not the students, but the employees.
Right. So that means next Monday, he would start his work.
That's why he's on vacation right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I was gonna point, you know, a school calendar, and I think Mr. Minkiff and Lee have met before and looked at this, you know, it specifies the work year for all of
Yeah.
our employees, you know, the days that they're,
Yeah.
because we have 200 days that they get paid for. Now, there are so many holidays in there, and there are so many of these other things that they don't actually go to work, you know, the teachers may not. And if we had a mild winter, it never snowed, nothing like that, then those OS days would be days
Right.
off for him, as long as it's the other people too, although you might make him work anyway. I don't know what he would do then. I'm gonna speculate that you might work him anyway, but I don't know. You might give him off. But anyway, there's so many days, because kids are gonna actually be in school, this scheduled year for 174 days
Mhm.
of actually students there. The other days are either holidays or these days that for some
Right.
reason or other they aren't, you know, they have in-service, and just like next week when the teachers there, before the kids come, you know, all those professional development things happen, and he will be around there when those happen. So, but I just point out, he is going to follow the same schedule as our other 200-day employees follow. That's what we've been doing, and I'm assuming we would continue. Now, like you all have said before, he gets paid, assuming that he was working 215 days. And so we're paying him 15 additional days of pay beyond the 200 a normal employee works. And those 15 days are to compensate him somewhat or partially for going to ball games and all these other things that he does in the evening and all. Is that correct? That's what our understanding has always been, because Mr. Midkiff, well, I'm gonna use him, he's not a good example. He works 260, he works all the time. Mr.
365.
Limble, Mr. Limble works 240 days. Mr. Cummings is a 240 employee. So that means they work that 200 days that everybody works, and then they work 40 more days outside of that calendar. And what would be with Lee here, we're saying we're gonna pay him for 15 more days beyond the 200 days. And those are to compensate him for when he does ball games and things he might have to go do, you know, outside the school day. Is that what?
Yeah, well, yeah, like all the stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm just for anybody, if
All the
somebody didn't
other
know
little
what we were
perks you
talking
get.
about,
Yeah.
I just like the general public or anybody that wouldn't understand all of it. That way we can make it clear to people like Mr. King back there.
Yeah, I just do federal programs.
Just out of curiosity, what is the officer's total yearly days of employment?
What is his total?
You know, I wouldn't know that right offhand. I mean, it would be 5.
Well, he gets,
He gets 3 weeks vacation.
Yeah.
He gets holidays. You know, he gets, we close when you guys do, basically.
yeah, we close on holidays. If I gotta come out, we gotta pay.
When you guys are closed for a
Yeah.
holiday, he's off for the holiday. You know.
Right. So he's working 240 days or so. somewhere
Yeah,
in there.
240,
Yeah.
But the average man would work more.
Yeah.
would work.
Because at
But
one
he
time.
does get the 3 weeks vacation.
Yeah, that
And
makes,
plus the holiday perks.
a 261 day would be a typical, like, what Mr. Minkus works, plus nights and Saturday and Sundays. But then if he were to get a 15-day vacation, he'd work 246, and then if he had the holidays, so you're talking 235,
Yeah.
240, or that he would get. Okay. Like I say, I don't know of anything else. Does anybody have anything else that's a concern or question? I think we've got a pretty good explanation about all the different items on here as far as I'm concerned. Jeff, what do you think?
No, I'm good, and I ran this wording past Leslie, and it says, what would be annually for the position, less any funding received through state or federal grants to fund the position. So, pretty simple, straight.
Covers that. Okay. Well, do you have any more questions of us, or want to clarify anything that you or Danny can think of?
Yeah, you did tell him about the, road bucket drive thing. Well,
I didn't mention it.
well, you tell him later or whatever, but you tell him that you take care of it with the.
Talk to administration.
Yeah, administration, yeah. Good. Good deal.
You don't know either, Sean.
Maybe I don't know.
Did you miss that? Huh?
One animal at a time.
Oh, my goodness.
Just go ahead and take, let's
You
take
may have to go across the road.
Believe we've been having problems with the fundraisers, car washes and stuff.
Okay.
Now you're on track, aren't you? Yeah. About the kids going out in the middle of the road.
Right,
And, you know, that's against the ordinance,
right.
which ordinance is a law, you know. And we talked to them and try to keep them down. And I even changed the officers' work hours for Saturdays, because that's when it happens, so that they would be there early. Because they start at about 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 to 2 is usually what their car washes and stuff are. But I had, one weekend, the football boys was out there, and I had to keep running them off. and talked to one of the administrators that was there about it. And finally, they finally quit after several attempts. And then 2 weeks later, had the cheerleaders out there, same administrator. Well, I run them back off the road 3 times to talk to the parents and administrators. And then the officer came by and run them off the road once. And then we both went back, because whenever I go outside, I'd watch them marinate right on the road. When I come around the curve, they see me, off the road they go. But anyway, then went back and talked to the administrator the 5th time. And it was the same administrator talked to 2 weeks before, to act like this was new, but it wasn't. And I know the kids wasn't doing it herself. It was a parent or it was somebody telling them to go out there when we're gone, see this county, move, because I changed vehicles. I was in my Ram and they didn't know it. And I got right upon them, you know, like that, and took off. So, and the kids, I don't want the town, I don't want the school board, school system or nothing to get, because the way these people are nowadays, if they go run into the Coon Funeral Home, big building like that, they're gonna run over a kid. And we told the administrator that the next time a kid was caught, there would be a ticket issued in the 3rd name. I'm not gonna say who it is. I don't think I need to do that.
But I did address it with
Okay, yeah. It's a safety issue. I mean, it is a law, but those kids do what we tell them to do.
Right. I agree with you 100%. I've come through there many a time, you know, on the post office, wherever, and they're right there. I don't mind giving a donation to anybody, but that's not the place to do it.
I told them they could be on the berm, away from the road, on the berm, and get their donations. Or tell them to go inside, they want to car wash, get a donation or whatever.
Yeah. I agree, you know, once again, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and it's not just school kids. Some of the youth sports that aren't school related, they do the same things. And, you know, I'm at the point now where I would, instead of giving a donation, I won't do it because of that, for that very reason. If they were off to the side somewhere.
It's not worth the kids getting crippled for life or killed.
They're
It's
right
not
out in
worth
the
it.
center of the road, and they shouldn't be there. So I agree with you.
Yeah. If that's, you know, what they think, we figure out a different way to raise some money.
Right.
Rather than having these car washers or whatever. But they was down there one time to save a lot. They had, this wasn't this, well, a school kid, but it was a midget league. It was down there, and they little fellas. Well, you know, come around that curve, people doing probably 50 miles an hour, and here they are. It was on both sides of the road and the middle.
That's what I mean.
I mean, that's just,
They're all doing that. That's,
and again, I ran them off, and talked to the parents, you know. So,
Must be working, I've not seen anyone out
well, this was last Saturday.
Last
I saw
Saturday.
some
Past
Saturday.
Last Saturday. Was it?
for a while.
Yeah.
No, this was the school one.
No,
It was,
or Saturday before last. That was last Saturday, because I was going,
It's not been
yeah,
that long since I've,
yeah, we talked.
School one, wasn't it?
it was band.
Saturday before last.
Band or cheer.
It was one of a school group, I remember saying.
Saturday, I got stuck back on the hill with the brush hog when I broke down.
But no, I noticed, because that's once, when I said, you know, I'm not gonna give them a donation, because they're in the middle of the road.
That might have been Saturday before last. Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember when we talked.
Yeah, it was,
Maybe it's
yeah, it
not
was Saturday
been that
before
long.
last, because that's when I did brush hog.
Maybe it was right after that had happened, the incident,
Yeah.
you should have shared with.
Right, that's what it was. So it was a week ago, this past Saturday. They didn't have nothing, I don't think, this Saturday.
That's who I think it was.
Well, that's the one that told me.
Okay, that's who I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're on the same page.
Yeah, I figured you was.
good.
But that's
Okay.
all I had, I just wanted
All right.
to let everybody know, so that y'all keep an eye out too, because we don't need nothing to happen, for sure.
Well, we appreciate Lee being out at the high school. He does a great service. Him getting this additional training and all, it's beneficial for, you know, this resource officer. I'm sure they do a lot of things that, you know, typically wouldn't be done. So for him to go to training, it's even better.
Right.
So we're hoping.
And we'll work on the grant every year from now on, stay on it.
There may be some other grants out
They
there.
might be, but we know how to look for them now.
Right.
And we got more than one person looking for grants, so, you know, that's gonna help, that's gonna help.
Christie, is that her responsibility, a lot of that for the town?
Yeah, she got a lot of responsibility.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, we have, Dr. Kersey,
Yeah.
that works here, you know, she does grants, so they kind of work.
Yeah, they work together, yeah.
And that's what we.
But both of them looks at different avenues, like, she'll look, but then Christie will look at, maybe some sites
Okay.
that's just for, police departments or whatever. You know, that you go on to make sure there's nothing in there to,
Right.
that helps out.
I'm sure if she ever needs any assistance, if she were to get a hold of Mr. Mickey, if he'd make Ms. Kersey available to help.
Well, they work really good together.
Good, good.
Lee helped too. I have some other time that he had to take out of school.
Okay.
And Lefty, I was not the only board member keeping an eye on your.
I was just pulling your chain, Fred.
Oh,
Yeah, I did. I can tell I pulled it. I thought I'm gonna get Fred.
Fred, since you said you're not going to identify anybody else, are you?
no, I'm not. But when you see a police car down the speedway more than you do at the high school.
They said, they something there, ain't they? Light bulb should go off, shouldn't it?
I refuse to answer.
Well, I appreciate you doing that because that bring into light for a lot of us, something that we nipped in the butt before we all got in trouble.
I know that's right, there's other things going on.
Okay, boys, that's enough of this conversation.
All right.
All right.
I appreciate
We
it.
appreciate y'all coming out.
Yes. I'll get all next.
Yeah, we'll approve it next time we meet, and they can go to work Monday.
May know your pitch.
Yeah, it kind of hangs around
Thanks, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
there. You ever miss coaching football?
Well, it depends on how fast he's going.
I do, but I don't miss all the time.
See y'all later. Anything, give us a holler. Gotta go to the
Thank you.
town watch.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
Resolve these all these streets.
We will. Okay, next on our agenda is Rod Cummings, our transportation director. Rod, I don't know how you're gonna follow up on all that. Maybe you can talk about being in your road or something.
And don't try to pull my chain.
He's riled up now.
Yeah, I'd avoid him like the plague.
Fred, I'll pick somebody else out. Want to give a quick update, and I don't know if you've noticed, but we've got our new school buses in, the gasoline engine buses. What I'm sitting out here, if anybody wanted to look at them, they're there. We're kind of looking forward to opportunity to do the pilot program. I know there's some skepticism on if the gas is better than the diesel, and that's one of the reasons we do the pilot. So at some future time that we're together, I'll give you an update on how that's going. And at any time that anybody wants to take a ride, we can arrange that too, so that you can see it. Sitting right next to one of our nice little buses is a red shop truck that's not quite in as good a shape. The frame on it is rusting out. So we're gonna have to look at the possibility of purchasing a new shop truck. It's gonna cost us with our state bid money somewhere between, well, right around $25,600 for a new F-250 that we will be able to, to take care of.
Now, who operates the shop truck?
Our mechanics.
Okay.
Okay. Which,
So it's a transportation?
yeah, it's for transportation. And they, they have one at home so that if they need to make emergency runs,
Right.
buses are working down when they're here or whatever. So we allow them to take them home and have, and I think there's some agreement that we have with the finance department as far as, I think they have to pay a little bit of the money that they receive goes to them having the privilege to drive the shop truck. And I don't know what the amount is.
Yeah, they'd figure that out.
Yeah.
They pay the IRS.
We've been doing that forever, so it's pretty much. And as you probably know, I guess since we're getting hired new mechanic this evening, also we've been the last month without a mechanic, which makes us, we're a little bit short on our end over there. But despite that, we've done pretty well. We've got 2 buses really that are out for repair right now. One of them, the new engine in it, it's a fairly new bus, is putting gas and oil is mixing in the motor. So it's at worldwide right now, and we're trying to figure out what the problem is. We don't have it here at this time.
So please tell me you meant to say diesel and oil.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, say if it's one of our brand new ones mixing gas and oil.
No,
you know.
not one of the brand new ones, but a fairly new bus, diesel bus. And another one we have down that has, the injectors are out of it right now. What we do is we take the injectors out, we send them to be tested so that we don't have to replace them all. And if the injectors are bad, we replace the ones that are bad, we save us money in the long haul. So anyway, as far as the start of school, we're in pretty good shape with buses, so I think we'll be okay. And while I'm on the subject, I guess, I wanted to mention that even when we have our other mechanic, we're still understaffed in the garage with the number of mechanics that we have. And at some point, whenever it's feasible, I'd like for us to be able to consider the possibility of hiring a mechanics assistant half-time, 200 days, work half the day, so that we can do a grease and oil, which would free up our other mechanics to do the other jobs that we have coming in. I think over the last few years, we've saved quite a bit of money through transportation and not sending things out and doing our own welding and that kind of stuff. And I think having another person in it will help us to save even more money without having to send buses off for repair. And that's pretty much it.
As far as, do you have any idea of how many spares you might have this year?
Yeah, I got 7 right now. One of them is a special needs bus, depending on how you want to look at it. One of them is when we get our new mechanic, we're going to put a new transmission in it, but it's not going to affect starting and stall. Yes, we got 7. We've got about 60 buses total. I got 50 routes, and then we got a couple buses, 3 I think, that's still on our books, but we're still on parts on it off of them because it's we'll make more money or save more money taking parts off it than we'll make money selling it.
I knew you'd done that in the past.
Yeah.
Now, the shop truck that you talked about,
No.
you may have, well, you probably don't need to add any detail, but that's, you basically have a fund for that where you like 80% reimbursement from
Yeah,
the state or something?
We get like 95% back.
Okay.
Which is, won't come back in the form of a check, but it comes back in the form of our budget, not next year, but the following year. So it's in that formula, that everything we spend in transportation comes back in the form of the budget. Now with the truck that we're talking about, we have some money available where we've had, in the past, had some buses that were wrecked. So when we get the insurance money, that money went into a pile, and we have enough money in it to pay for that truck without taking it out of other funds.
It's good when you get back that much money, is it?
Well, you hit there, yeah. They'd write a check if you get it.
Maybe funds available for new purchases.
That's what we use for these buses.
Okay.
And we're still in the lease agreement.
Yeah.
So I have money laid back to cover the lease agreement should we have bad times. You know, if something happens, the state wouldn't give us money next year for our new bus purchases, then I have enough money from the past where I can make that payment per year so we wouldn't have to take it off something else.
We got like 2 years left on the lease.
I think there's 2. Yeah, and my intention, of course, this is way up front, but my intention is whenever this is, those 2 years are up, but we want to do the lease agreement again where we can get 8 or 10 or 12 buses, whatever, however much money we've got, possibly gasoline buses.
I did my independent research. Just like you and I didn't get to talk about this. When I found out what the powertrain was in those buses, I went out and talked to people that drive the Tri-River buses. That's the same engine, probably different transmission and axle in a bus that big. But they said they do phenomenally well in those transportation buses. And obviously a lot smaller, but they expect to get 300,000 plus miles out of them with normal routine maintenance without a lot of problems. And they they perform well, the newer versions get good fuel economy.
Yeah.
So,
So we'll see what
we'll
happens.
see, I mean, it definitely worth being involved in the pilot program, because I just can't see a bus company investing that kind of money behind a powertrain that isn't proven, because they're gonna be under warranty for how long?
Yeah,
It's 5 years.
pretty good warranty
Yeah.
on it. I don't remember. off the top of my
So,
head.
you know, it's a win-win for us.
I think so.
Gas prices 30, 40, 50 cents a gallon cheaper than diesel.
Yeah, and the gas mileage is not gonna be that much different.
I don't think it will.
You know, we run 8, 10 to 12, depending on what route they're on our diesel buses. Well, you know, I expect 6, 8, 10 maybe on the gasoline buses. So, you know, the difference in fuel cost, but even more so, the difference in maintenance repairs.
The frequency of maintenance on a gasoline engine is a lot greater. You get a lot longer intervals between regular maintenance, and it's a lot cheaper when you have to do the maintenance.
Yeah, it's, you know, everything recircles, but the difference between the really old, or at least as I'm told, the really old gasoline engines on buses and big trucks was the carburetor. Well, there's no carburetor, it was fuel injected, so that eliminated that problem. So, you know, hopefully we make the right choice.
Okay. Substitutes. We're still looking for substitute bus drivers.
We're always looking, and everybody else is too. Kanawha County, I believe, had like 22. I heard regular run vacancies. Talked to Boone County, and they have, I don't think they have any subs other than some retired people. Now, we have 4 or 5 probably that was already hired. I've got 3 in a class right now. Should be finishing up, 2 of them should be finishing up any day now. One of them was in a freak accident. He was cutting a tree down and it fell on him. He's hopefully going to be moved back a little bit before. Hopefully it gets well enough that he can finish in the near future. Then I was going through today. I've got 5 candidates for the next class, which will start sometime soon. We just sent 2 of our people to be trained, which I should have mentioned before, didn't think about it, but we sent 2 of our people to be trained at Flatwoods to be school bus trainers, so that when they do the class, new school bus drivers do the class at Cabell County, and when they come back to us, then we have our people here to train them how to do the pre-trip and stops and starts and all that.
I would just clarify, Mr. Bidkitt, that was through our Mountain State
Yes,
ESC.
it is. Yeah, and of course, you know more than I think what we had in recent before was 4 or 5 counties, and now I think there's as many as 20 involved.
Last meeting approved several counties, didn't we, Jeff?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
There was 8 or 9 counties.
yeah, a bunch of, more than our.
Oh,
in our.
on the transportation part, now.
As trainers. As trainers.
To be a
People
bus,
who will serve
to
as
do bus
trainers.
training.
8 or 9 counties.
Oh, okay, but I thought there was like 20 groups that was interested in being part of the school bus
I don't know how
training.
many.
Yeah, that's what Steve was just commenting on, a bunch of counties that are not in the ESC want to be
Right,
involved
want to
in
be
bus training.
part of that.
Now, Rhonda, did you tell me we've got 1 or 2 bus drivers who are going to be trained to be trainers?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right, who was?
Steve Bird and
Okay,
Heather
I missed the
Sampson.
names, okay.
Yeah, and they both passed and did phenomenal. So when we have our, I think it's October the 12th, we have our PL day. We're going to do some training that morning, that evening. I'm going to have Steve and Heather to do some pre-trip stuff with all the bus drivers out here for their certification stuff. So they're trained to do that. So it'll be good.
Okay, anything else from Mr. Gunner? Okay, Ron.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Fired up, ready to go. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the administrative section then, please. Carol made the motion. Fred seconded that. Mr. Midkiff.
Item A is a memorandum of understanding with Jobs for West Virginia's Graduates Incorporated to establish a JAC program at Lincoln County High School effective with the 2018-2019 school year, with county's funding shared at $5,000 according to the terms of the memorandum of understanding, or the MOS. funded through Title V. Now, this will be the second year of this program. If you'll recall, there's a gentleman last year that came before the board by the name of Brent Stern, and spoke to us. It was a highly successful program this past year. We were concerned because when they initially came back to us with this agreement, they were asking for $20,000 to fund that position. But after I spoke to Mr. Stern, he was able to work through AT&T. They had some program out there that covered $15,000 of the cost, making our share $5,000, and Mr. King was able to tap into Title V, as he did last year, to fund the position. So we're excited to be able to continue with the program. Item B is a contract with APL Associates Consultants to provide an instructional skills workshop on April the 9th, 10th, 11th, 2019, according to the terms of the agreement. And we're blending title funds, Title I, Title V, and Title II to fund this activity. Mr. King wants it. Or was it money bags, I think someone said they were.
Something like that. They didn't call me the pig.
Item C, approval to create and post an itinerant counselor position effective immediately for 2018-2019 school year to be shared between Midway and Lincoln County High School. This is a position for which we had discussed at the last board meeting, the issue that we had with unable to find a halftime counselor. Let's see, D, contract for ULLC to provide technical support in the areas of math and language arts for all Lincoln County schools for the 2018-2019 school year, according to the terms of the contract, funded through Title II. Ray, you sure this next one shouldn't have been under finance?
I was wondering where it was at.
Item E, the Board of Education of the County of Lincoln, being of the opinion that the levies for the current expense authorized by Article 8, Chapter 11 of the Code of West Virginia, as amended, will not provide sufficient funds for the payment of current expenses of the Board of Education, including expenditures for purposes herein set forth, and that an election should be held as provided under the provisions of Section 16, Article 8, Chapter 11 of the Code, as amended, to approve the continuation of the current additional levies for the fiscal years beginning July 1st, 2019, July 1st, 2020, July 1st, 2021, July 1st, 2022, and July 1st, 2023, and hereby orders the approval of the levy order and ballot and calls for the general election on Tuesday, November 6th, 2018. And the levy call and ballot is attached to the review.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments about any of those items in the administrative section? I think we've gone over most of these in the past. Okay, if not, is that an all yes vote on those items?
Yes.
All yes on all the administrative items. Okay. And, good job, Mr. Ellis, on getting all that together. Appreciate it. Now, just get it passed. We'll all try to help.
We started with the principals today.
We sure did. And thankfully, Lincoln Journal Sentinel has begun their efforts too. We appreciate everybody. I'm just thinking about this, that the effect that what we all need to do and communicate, and I'm sure we will, to parents and students and the general public and businesses and everyone, the devastating effect it would have if this were not in effect for our county. You know, we've had an excess levy in Lincoln County since the 1950s, 100% excess levy. You know, we've done all we possibly could as citizens, and our citizenry have always approved that. I know during the rec decision, or the Polly case, the 11th rec decision, that was one of the things the judge would ask. You know, in Lincoln County, are you getting all the funds you can get from your citizenry? And the answer was yes. You know, the problem was there wasn't enough revenue being generated through taxes in various forms. But the citizens continued to approve as much as they possibly could. And we're hoping that they will. And I think as you go through there and share with people, and they look at those items, I would urge everybody to look at that levy call and look at what's on there, and just try to think what would happen if those weren't there. It would just be devastating. I hate to keep using that term, but that truly would be. And I know Mr. Midkiff and Mr. Lynn and everybody else, when they go out, will be sharing that with faculty members, because it goes beyond the obvious of salaries for all of our employees, but just all the student activities and everything is just affected. It's just, I mean, as I read through those, it just, you know, just strikes a chord with me once again. So I appreciate everybody supporting that, and hopefully we'll continue to look forward to having that another 5 years. Okay, let's go to the finance section. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Mr. Wilkerson, Mr. Baker, Mr. Ellis.
Schedule of invoices totaling $925,402.21. That is attached. Got any questions, let me know.
You're almost at that meeting mark.
Yeah, it's kind of high.
You're getting close. All right, everybody's had the opportunity to look at those. Are there any questions? Is that all, yes, on the finance item? Yes. Okay. Now let's go to the personnel items. Do we have a motion to look at those? Fred made the motion. Rowdy seconded that. Now, here he is.
I have to start off with item A, strike that. We interviewed this young lady today, Dr. Lowe and I did, and she was all excited. When I called her off for the job, she wanted to know the salary. It was about $6,000 less than she's making, but in her current job, she doesn't have health insurance, retirement, or anything. I tried to explain to her. She said, well, I just can't do it. So.
She didn't get dental or optical on her other job either?
Nothing. No benefits.
No help?
Nothing.
Dental?
None.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Okay, item B, transfer of professional personnel, realignment within the school. Item C, employment of substitute service personnel. Item D, employment of service personnel. Item E, transfer of service personnel. Item F, employment of extracurricular personnel. Item G, retirement and resignations. And rescind employment of Amber Gillenwater, teacher at Midway Elementary, grade 1. If you look over in the effective dates, some of these people were beyond the date, and we let them go upon finding a certified candidate. If we don't find a certified applicant and hire one, then they stay with us for the year, okay? So that's where we are. Also, I give you a list. I think we've got about 19 or 20 positions. Today, we had a posting go down today. We did have a counselor, 2 counselors apply, so those interviews will be going on. But most of them we did not. Title I had interviews. We'll have interviews, but the rest of them, we didn't have any applicants. And we'll continue to repost them, but we talked with the principals today, broke down a list, and they give us who some good subs are. You know, in some cases, some of them are subbed in some of these subjects. Like at Duval, you know, you'll have math, you'll have Miss Tackett, which we won't miss anything, and Julie Johnson, who taught up her half a year last year in math for Stephanie, when she was was in math a half year, done a great job, so she's in the other math. So we're trying to get them as quickly as we can posted and filled. We got another posting going out tomorrow, and if you look at the second page on that, now you have to remember, not all counties put these on the state website. That's how many vacancies were on the state website today. You look at PE, 6 positions. I mean, PE teachers used to be.
What social studies?
Social studies, elementary. You know, we go to job fairs and there's 100 elementary compared to everything else, you know, but it's everywhere. You know, talk to Cabell County, you know, how we have the alternative certification for special ed. They're actually starting to have to do that in Cabell County. And a lot of other counties are doing that too. So we're trying to keep plugging along. And I know all good things have to come to an end. but we really appreciate you letting us bring revised agendas in. But all good things have to come to an end, I know that, so.
We'll give me a little bit more leeway.
Okay. Well, if we go one more, if we get any candidates, so we can get them hired the next time, that would be great. But I tell you, that list would be a whole lot longer if we didn't have that chance to do that. Because, you know, a posting may go down on Thursday or whatever, and we have to have the agenda out. We can't get that name on there until Monday. It's really helped tremendously. We appreciate that.
You know, wasn't the last year that we heard that there were over 700 vacancies in the state?
714, we think, yeah. 700.
Something's gonna have to.
Yeah, like I said, all counties put these on there, and it's only gonna get worse, because you can look at these subjects. You know, Kanawha County, Pat Stevens wasn't going, Atkins, I'm sorry, I said the maiden name, Pat Atkins, if you remember last time, he was gonna resign, but he didn't. But then they talked him into, well, we're gonna get a sub in that position until they find someone certified. Kanawha County had 5 PD positions that they can't fill. And, you know, so if you know some good people out there with 4-year degrees, that's good quality people, send them our way, and maybe we can get them in the alternative certification pathway.
And when you say with 4-year degrees, they don't have to be in education?
They do not have to be in education.
So anyone at the college
With a 4-year degree, if it's special education, they have to pass the basic tests, math, reading, and writing. And then they take the coursework. And then at the end of that, they have to take the content area for special ed. Now, if it's in a core area, like math, English, science, they have to pass the basic test, and then they have to pass the content up front. And then they take the classes, and then at the end, they take the PLT, Principles of Learning and Teaching. So if there's good quality people, you know, that we can get, you know, be worth. And the thing about Mr. King, through our Title II, correct, is it Title II?
Yes, sir.
Which is teacher recruitment and so forth. The classes are $2,800. We pay 23 of it. The candidate pays $500.
Now,
for 7 classes.
how long is that for, that period of time?
It's over a 2-year period. And the classes are online. And
I mean, is it 2,800 for 2 years or each year?
that's the total.
Oh, total.
Total. And if you're out there trying to take a college class right now, it's $1,200–1,300 for a graduate course. So,
Now, and this alternative program is through,
we set that up through RESA, which now we're going to do it with Mountain State, ESC.
say it's the same, it goes through Mountain State.
In fact, I have a meeting this Friday with the other counties, and we have to revise and change the wording to ESC.
Could be done the same way.
Be done the same way, but,
Yeah, that'd be a good thing, especially for local people that might have a
Right.
degree, that want to stay in the area.
it would be excellent. And we've had some success with the ones that's got in the program. But of course, all that we have so far has been special education. And one of the things that Mr. Midkiff and I discussed and worked with Dr. Lowe on is those special ed teachers, they come in 1 day a month, new teacher cohort, and get additional training, and then they have to take the praxis, and all of them that's been taken it have been passing it in special ed. And some of these didn't have any educational background at all. We had one, when we hired him, I thought, we had made a mistake, but he's turned out to be one of our veterans. So if you know anyone that's gonna stay and pretty good person, we can get them in it, it'd be great.
They need to contact you. if they're-
Contract, yes, that'd be fine. Good.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about personnel, other than we need more? I don't guess that's a question. Obvious. Okay, if not, then is that an all yes vote on the personnel schedule committee? Yes. All right, all yes on that. Okay, we're down to comments, concerns. Board members. Mr. Mickey.
All right, one item. Our annual Teacher of the Year, Service Employee of the Year ceremony, we recognize and honor those folks. I'm looking at dates, and I want to check the board's availability tonight to see if you could be here at 5 p.m. on September the 4th, Tuesday, September the 4th. That's a board meeting night. So the ceremony would be at 5, followed by the regular board meeting.
When's that in the day?
September the 4th. Monday's 3rd. Is that good?
Rowdy.
No, I'm changing times on the calendar.
So you think you're okay on that?
Okay, good deal. Susie, now we'll get together and start playing
Part.
cards.
All right, anything else? Jay?
That's all.
Just a reminder, I think everyone may have seen the School Board Association's conference announcement today. That's going to be on September the 14th and 15th at the Marriott in Charleston as usual. If you haven't advised Miss Susie, you'll need to let her know if you're going to attend and if you need a room. Whether she's talked to everybody or she's got back to her. Okay, good.
How many of you all plan to go?
You know,
We need the hours anyway.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And I've already blocked it on my calendar, but I'll drive, I don't know where.
So Rowdy's going, but he doesn't need a room. Carol, so we're all going, Susie, and we need 4 rooms. Plus, I don't know, Jeff,
I'm the one.
he doesn't need a room, because he's not staying. He's gonna be with the homeless people on the street. Can't afford it.
You want to take a poll for the February meeting right now?
No. We don't know what's on there yet, Larry. It might be,
That's really important.
it might be something that just go through that snow to get to. Just look at the glancing at this agenda, the first item is about excess levies. So, must be on a lot of people's minds. Okay, good. Everybody's planning on going, and they're going to mistakes at Rowdy.
Jeff.
Well, he definitely, he did camp, this thing. Bring her with you. Take her to the Marriott, let her get a swimming pool or something. She can hang out with Eddie or whatever. Okay, if nothing else, let's adjourn until Tuesday, August the 21st, 2018, at 6 o'clock here at the county office. Got a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Rowdy made the motion, Carol seconded that. Is that an all yes?
Yes.
All yes.